Hi, this is Bob from Hobby Concepts, and today I'm going to unbox Tamiya's brand new Scania 770S 8x4/4, which is a very anticipated kit. It's the first Tamiya kit that's got a triple rear axle, and the front rear axle is a steering axle and a lift axle. Neat truck. It's got all kinds of cool new parts. It has an equipment rack, which they haven't done before. This will be a fun truck to build, which I will do soon. But today I wanted to get this unboxing video done. It just came in. It just basically hit the US in the last couple days. I think you'll like this truck. Hopefully you'll like this video. Let's get started. Well, look at this. It's the new Scania 770S 8x4/4. Whatever that means. But this is one hot truck kit. I've never had so many pre-orders for a kit. Pretty amazing. It's the first Tamiya kit with a lift axle, and so we're going to kind of take a look at it in this unboxing. It also has a really nice equipment rack built in behind the arrow wings. So I'm going to pull the lid off here. Now, my bench is only so big, and this kit is bigger, but you can see how just beautifully it's packed inside. It has a oh my gosh, it has a box that's double layers around the edge to protect everything, and then inside everything else is boxed. So you can see this box right here, just gorgeous. And I love that drawing. Matter of fact, that's probably going to get cut out and be a poster in my workshop here pretty soon. So let me get this organized a little bit. Well, let's see. Let's just take a couple things out. Manual and more boxes inside. Typical Tamiya packing. I'm going to actually slide these boxes out, and we'll kind of go through them one at a time. All right. Well, let's start with this big box that was on the top, and it's a flat box, but one of the reasons I wanted to start with it is it has the frame in it. Now, the frame is pretty normal. I know everybody's going to want to know. So let's take a look here. The frame is 20¼ inches long. And it's got this interesting, let's go with blue paper back here. It's got this interesting slot right here, which I've never seen before. And I'm assuming that's going to be for our lift axle, maybe up and down, snap into position. The big question I've been getting from everybody is, can you put a servo on the lift axle? I don't know if we'll determine that in this video today, but I'm going to build this truck next week, and that is my goal, to put a servo on the lift axle. So there's our frame. We have the normal body parts. Now, these are the same as the standard 770S. I recognize those trees because I built a couple of those. Window tree looks pretty good. Accessory parts. This is a new tree because these wings are longer, and typical Tamiya quality to the parts. They're beautiful. So we'll see how those work. I'm really anxious to look at the equipment rack. Bumpers, fenders, these are all the same as the standard 770S kit. Grill, that's the same. Fenders, same. Okay, this is new. Pop this open. Whole bunch of air tanks. And some other parts, which I'm assuming are parts for the equipment rack. These obviously are for the equipment rack. I think they go across the top. And these are not individual parts. This is one part here and one part here. Looks like they have individual end caps though. This is also equipment rack parts. 2 trees. Yep. Probably top, bottom, sides, some framing. I'm positive this truck will probably put the battery in the equipment rack, and there's some more equipment rack parts. So that is what we've got in box 1. Okay, this is the equipment box. Typical Tamiya again. Okay, first thing I've noticed is the tires are the block tread tires. So these are rear tires here. Tamiya does such a nice job on those. And we've got 2 more, so that takes care of all the rear tires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so all the rear tires are block tread and they're the standard width. The front tires are the super wides. Now, that means that the drop axle and the front steering axle are going to have super wides. Okay, so you can see the difference in the width here. So if you're thinking about putting different wheels or different rubber on it, that's going to be something you're going to want to know. Okay, ball bearings. I have already seen this on the web that people are reporting that this kit has some ball bearings, and that looks pretty good. It's nice of Tamiya to include ball bearings. My only struggle with that is the ball bearings are not sealed, and I like to use ball bearings that are sealed in places that are exposed to the elements, like for example the ends of the axles. So we'll take a look at that closer when we build the kit. But it does have a nice set of ball bearings, including the 2 small bearings which fit in the Euro style steering, so that's really nice. Okay, parts bags. Bag C, that looks like it could have come right out of a globe liner. The transmission bag, same thing. Oh, look at that. They still have the bushings in there, even though they give you ball bearings. So they're just using the bags from other trucks and including these ball bearings as an option. That's kind of nice. Standard transmission bag, I'd recognize that. Transmission gears for you guys that built Tamiya trucks, that's pretty obvious. Servo saver tree for the Euro style trucks. And a second tree of servo savers. B bag, well, that would be like the front suspension. I'm not offhand noticing what's new, but I'm sure there's something new in there. This kit comes with a 35 turn motor, upgrade motor, that's nice. A bag, which is okay, this is different than some other A bags. I see boy, that's an interesting looking part. Let's take a look at that. Let's see here, where's my knife? I don't see a knife handy. What is wrong with me? My messy workbench. Pocket knife. This little part. That's going to have something to do with the lift axle. It's got like a rotating slot, so as it turns it lifts. So I'm sure that's a lift axle part, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to put a servo on that lift axle. More parts bags. Drive shaft, prop shaft. It's interesting, they look like the pads that go on the bottom of the trailer feet. I bet you they're bumper pads for the lift axle. Standard tool bag. Extension harness for the wiring. The E-bag has got all kinds of, it's got our coupler parts and all the normal parts. F-bag's got our body mount parts. G-bag has our detailing parts. So those are pretty similar to most of the other Tamiya kits, with the exception of a few new parts and the tires. I went to put the parts back in here and I found two other pieces. Okay, well, that's the transmission shift shaft, and this is a beautiful piece of decking, which I'm sure will be the floor decking for behind the equipment rack. Really, really nice. Okay, that's the toolbox, or the gear bag box. Now we've got a couple of parts boxes in no particular order. Again, I love this. I love the way they did this with that picture on the front. Maybe that'll be my poster. It's a little smaller. Okay. Plastic parts. I can see right now, at least I think I see, something that looks like maybe my lift axle. And some of these parts are the glass-filled nylon, which makes them a lot stronger. So there's a lot of steering and suspension parts in here. Put this back here. We've got a tree of parts. I'm sure these are the equipment rack. And probably, just from the looks of it, the doors on the equipment rack are set up to hold a control panel for a Tamiya MSC. Bet you anything. Okay, more parts, bumper parts. That's unique. Trailer, some kind of trailer coupler. Transmission covers, rear ends, that's a common part. Rear cross member box, that's common. Our coupler deck, that's common. And our gears for our transmission, those are common. Well, this box has a boring plain black cover, and it has a lot of our detail parts. So we've got a chrome tree, I recognize that. That's all the light bars and bumper Nerf bars for the 770. Okay, this is new. Well, there's looks like our caps for our tanks, end caps for the, that's where the battery will go, in the large tank compartment, probably in the equipment rack. It's going to be interesting to see how they get into the equipment rack with those fairings hiding the rack. I'm sure they have a tricky way to do that. Interior parts, I've seen this before. Of course, light lenses, clear lenses, and colored lenses. I love how they do this now. In the old days, you would get a clear lens and they would tell you to paint part of it red and part of it amber. Now they have it molded in red, and they even have the cutout for the clear part in the center. So no more painting. This is new. It looks like the couple lights for the top of the cab. This is also new. It's got a long clear part. Be fun to see where that goes. Headlights, I recognize that. The lights for the clear lenses for the bumper and roof lights. And finally the tree with the fenders, and I recognize most of that from the 770. So pretty normal stuff there. This part was underneath the spacer box. It was in the box, and that's just floor plates. And then finally is our box with most of the body parts. And we have our body mold. And if you watched my previous 770S builds, you will know that I just love this. It fits perfectly. It looks fantastic. It's just a beautiful, beautiful body. And Tamiya is really state-of-the-art semi-truck. Tamiya, if you're listening, let's do another American truck. You know, maybe a Mac or something. Just a little hint. Everybody email Tamiya and say, let's do an American truck next. Okay, back to the Scania. Equipment rack parts. Okay, those are the doors, I'm sure, for the equipment rack. This would be the battery box, fuel tank. Lots of places to hide things on this truck. Chrome parts tree, aluminum parts tree. I recognize all these. Isn't that beautiful that they can mold parts like this with this gorgeous, compare it to this chrome part, with this gorgeous aluminum finish. I mean, their parts are really nice. This is going to be a fun kit to build. Rear suspension parts. Driver figure. Yay! Another kit with a driver figure. So the Grand Hauler has the driver figure, and this kit has a driver figure. Very nice. Thank you, Tamiya. Steering parts. Body trim parts, including the Scania name. Okay. There's our super wide front rims. And you'll notice that, and I noted this before on the other trucks, on the super wides they actually don't chrome the areas where the tire bead fits. So when you glue it, it sticks better. And I think they do that because the super wides have more of a tendency to pop off the wheels. They also have a trim ring that fits on the wheel that you can use it or not, depending on what kind of a mood you're in. Rear wheels. Anybody who's ever built a Tamiya truck kit is familiar with that one. Coupler parts. Additional body and steering parts, and additional body parts. Rear bumper mounts, there's our steering mount. And that completes all the parts that are in the box. Now I'm going to move that stuff out of the way. We'll come back and we'll go through the manual page by page. Okay, in the manual bag it's got a shift gate for your radio, which is frankly completely useless. Little warning signs, typical Tamiya, how to install the shift gate. Yeah, Tamiya, we're not using slide trim radios anymore, just so you know. Beautiful decal sheet. Oh my gosh, finally they've got some vehicle markings on here besides just the body stickers, and a nice assortment of letters and numbers, so that you can kind of do your own decorations. Frankly, the 770S decal, I love the looks of it on their box art. And I don't, if you've watched my builds, I don't normally use their decals, but I might on this build. That is really a good looking decal. And I think I can trim it so that it doesn't show the edges really bad. This is a great decal sheet, one of the best I've seen. Manual. Okay, that is a thick manual. It feels like the Christmas catalog. They put the parts layout drawings in a separate book. Now I like that because when you need to refer to this to say, oh my gosh, where is D21? What's a D tree look like? You know, you've got this. You don't have to lose your place in the manual. Good idea. That's really nice. Okay, and finally the manual, which is, as I mentioned, really thick and just looks super nice. More safety precautions. And okay, I'm going to get my camera set for a perfect angle and we'll go through this page by page. Alright, let's take a look at this manual. So first off, it's labeled A, So it's done in their new style format where all the parts you need, the mechanical parts, the screws and nuts and bolts and everything, will be in the A bag. Makes it real easy to kind of keep the parts separated. So we've got our servo setup, and I actually just did a new servo setup video. These servos set up slightly different than the US trucks, but that video is still real useful for doing this. So the servo mounting, the front end of the frame, everything looks really familiar except for this part right here. I'm not positive what that is, and these parts right here. So I'm suspecting we're maybe looking at some of the drop axle parts right from the start. Rear cross member, air tanks, rear uprights, everything looks pretty normal. This little piece right here is something new, and these are something new in here. So those have got to be lift axle parts right here. I noticed that our little S slot in the side of the frame lines up with these. So these have got to be holders for the mechanism that works the lift axle. Rear bumper, and then pintle hook. Okay, that's interesting. The kit includes a rear pintle hook for trailers. That's new. I have not seen that on any Tamiya kit before ever. I have actually installed a couple of separate pintle hooks on other trucks, but Tamiya's included a pintle hook on this truck. So if you're going to be towing like a trailer that's a flatbed trailer with a front axle that uses a drawbar, this will be nice. And there's the pintle hook mounting in the rear bumper, and that all looks pretty straightforward. I don't see anything unusual there. It looks like you can activate it. I'm not sure, maybe a little twist on the top. Okay, lift axle. This is the part that's new right here. Okay, as I suspected, that little part that I looked at that has the angled slot in it is here in the lift axle. There's our lift axle shaft, and I can see that it fits into the S slot and through this part right here. So what the axle will do is drop down and back and then move forward and up. So the S part of the slot will latch it into position. I'm going to have to build this to see exactly how it works. It looks like this part right here rotates, so you just turn it to lift the axle up and down. I think we can figure out how to hook a servo to that. Okay. Back to normal kind of parts. We've got our rear bumpers for the rear axles. We've got our steering servo, our front body mount, our typical Euro style servo mounting. That's if you've ever built a Euro truck, this is common, but I will build this truck pretty soon, so we'll be able to go through that. Lots of linkages, and they give you all the linkages in full-size drawings, and this now is starting the B bag. So some of these will be steering linkages, and some of them will probably be linkages for the lift axle. Front axle is the same as all the Euro trucks. When I build this kit, I'm going to show you how to modify this for better steering on the Euro trucks. Okay, front suspension, all familiar. Now this is our front axle and front axle 2. Okay, so that axle that I was looking at with the bump in it is our second front axle. And oh, how nice. It has steering. Okay, so the lift axle steers. So we've got kingpins, steering axles. Looks like that's going to steer just like the front axle. Our rear suspension mount's pretty normal. I'm going through this at the same time as you're seeing it. Okay, I've not opened this manual and looked at it, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. I'm sure as we build the kit, we'll figure it out. But you guys that have been building Tamiya trucks will recognize a lot of this. And again, we'll go through it when we build this, and I'm going to build it right away. Rear axles, pretty normal. Transmission, pretty normal. Except for the drawing of the 35 turn motor. Yeah, and you can see our two axles here with a tie rod. Oh my gosh, that's going to be real interesting to see how that all works. Rear fenders. And again, as in the other 770, they give you an MFC tab here if you're using a Tamiya MFC, and show you where to install the LEDs. Now, one of the issues with the Tamiya MFC is it doesn't have enough LEDs to fill all the holes in this truck. But you can add additional LEDs to it, or use another type of system. Or you can just go with it stock and light up most of the things. Okay, rear fenders, rear coupler, all normal. Front fenders and body mount. And then now we start getting into some of the parts that cover up, like the servos, side door here. Now they're showing MFC mounting, and they give you, that's good, they give you ideas, they give you a mount, and they give you ideas to mount the MFC in the vibration motor so you can still have the interior in it. And they've done that in the last couple of new trucks, and that's nice that they're thinking about that. In the old days, they would just slap the MFC down in the middle of the cab and you would have no interior. So here you get to keep the seats and the dashboard in the interior. And they give you suggested places to run the wiring. Alright, this is our steering layout. So you can see the steering for the front axle, and then the second rod here, which hooks to our drop axle. This is going to be fun to build. I like the looks of this. I'm excited. Okay, tire and wheel mounting. F-bag, body. Okay, so the body is pretty straightforward here. This body has a lot of room in it. Windows, grill, roof lights. Okay, that long clear bar that I looked at earlier is a roof flasher bar. Oh my gosh, this truck's going to be gorgeous. Lots of room in the top to put a speaker, which is great. Visors, cab cap, dashboard. This dashboard's beautiful. Deserves to be lit up. Body mounting, grill, driver assembly, driver placement, attaching the cab. This is all just normal 770 stuff. Lower grill, how to install the MFC lights, and they give you different tabs if you're using an MFC01 or an MFC03. For this kit, obviously, if you're going to use an MFC, the 03 is the European sound version. That's the one you'd probably want to use. Okay, now, and then plug in suggestions for each MFC, whether it's an 03 or an 01. Now, G-bag. This is our equipment rack, so this is all new for Tamiya. And you can see there's a lot of parts in it. A lot of parts. Those side frames that we looked at earlier stack. This is the floor for the unit, which has got, looks like metal pieces that hold it together. That's a lot of pieces right there, just in that part. And we have the top. And there's the side wing. Okay, the side wing has got hinges on it. So I was wondering how they did that. So the side wing is going to swing open, and then the battery box cap will be in this area right here. I knew they'd do something tricky. Probably has a magnet to hold it shut. If I don't miss my guess, that's Tamiya's new MO, and it works great. Yep, there's the magnet holders. Okay, so that mounts and swings open for access to the battery. Here's our compartments, painting suggestions, battery tray, fits in. That's going to deserve some paint. And as I thought, the toolboxes are designed to hold the MFC control panel. And they have opening doors. And there's, okay, these are clear light lenses. So these are lights. Boy, this thing's got a lot of lights in it. I don't know that MFC is going to do it. We'll have to see. There's our air tanks we were looking at that go on top. And there's our beautiful metal decking, and there's some ladders. I don't remember seeing those. Those are probably in there somewhere. Looks like pull out and swing down ladders. And there's our complete assembly ready to put in. It looks like both side wings open. So going to have to do a nice paint job on the inside of that side wing as well as the outside. Some final details, mirrors, antennas, and then showing how to put the battery in. Looks like it'll have a lot of room for a battery. There's a lot of room up here for equipment, so wiring. Painting and marking, there's decal suggestions. Here's how to raise the second axle, and so it just shows that you rotate that knob to raise it. And this is the pintle hook, and as I suspected, that's a trailer hitch, so that you can tow a flat type trailer with it. And then suggestions for mounting a servo for the motorized leg kit and the servo release using the Tamiya motorized leg kit. And that's pretty much it. A few driving suggestions and some do not do this. Parts list. Parts list. A lot of parts in this baby. Okay, that takes care of the contents of that truck box. So there you go. I don't normally do a lot of unboxing videos, but I wanted to do this truck since it was new and since there was so much interest in it. I'm more about building, so trust me, I can hardly wait to get my hands on this truck. I will start on it next week. Probably take me a couple of weeks to build it. I probably am going to put a Bayer SFR1 in it because there's just so many lights to do it justice. I think I've got to do that, but I'll make that decision as I get into the truck. There you go. The new Tamiya Scania 770S 8x4/4. This is a serious kit. It comes in a big box. It has a lot of parts, and I just think it's spectacular looking. I really do. I think it's just one of the prettiest trucks I've ever seen. So there you go. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate those. They help the videos in the YouTube rankings, and subscribe to my videos, especially if you're interested in Tamiya trucks. A lot of new stuff coming up. So there we go. The new Tamiya kit. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.